Um, Today we're gonna write our own mystery story. But before we start that, I'd like to ask you, have you read a lot of mysteries?
Not
Stories?
a lot, I would say, but a few.
Some stories don't call themselves mysteries, but they have a mystery
Yes.
in them.
Right. Got a few of those.
Yeah. I guess um, if you have trouble thinking about a book that you've read, you could technically you could think about a TV show like Bones, like what elements. Okay. So there's 5 essential elements in a mystery story. What elements do you think need to be in a mystery? What usually comes up?
Suspense, definitely. You need suspense.
Okay. Suspense. That's a good.
Um, Maybe like a little bit of scary.
Maybe scary. What other elements need to be in the story?
You're probably gonna want like some like surprised or someone to be surprised.
Okay. Surprised by what though? What usually happens in at the
Twist.
maybe what happens at the beginning of a mystery? We could start there.
The beginning.
Are you having trouble thinking?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so Rowan always liked the Magic Treehouse books. Have you ever read any of those?
No.
They're all mysteries, and usually if you have a mystery story, what needs to happen in the first place so that the story
Discover the problem.
Exactly. Usually there's a crime or some type of puzzle, somebody acting in a strange way, but something's mysterious, so that you got to have that.
Mystery.
Yeah, you have to have that element to start out in a mystery. A crime or a puzzle or something that happens that doesn't make any sense. What else is it, what kind of characters do you need in a mystery?
You need like the people that solve the story need to be intuitive and
Okay.
you need to be able to find that, and like the people that committed it or person need to be like sneaky.
Okay, so you have a detective or somebody who's going to solve the crime,
Who's intuitive.
investigator, or just a kid that's curious about something that doesn't make any sense, right?
Case George.
Sometimes they're professionals like police officers. Sometimes they're amateurs. Sometimes they're just somebody who thought they saw something. I don't know. I'm a big mystery person, but maybe this is a good idea for us to talk about this if you're not thinking about the mystery genre. I'm sure you've read mysteries. So you also said then there's the person that does the crime, like suspects, maybe. Sometimes you're not sure who did it.
Sneaky
Yeah, there's a lot of sneakiness going on. So
suspicious.
those characters, they don't always tell you things. What do they have to, what other element needs to be in there for the detective to do what they're supposed to do?
Clues.
That's right. Yeah, clues, evidence. Good. Sorry. My eye's all itchy. Sometimes a lot of novelists, or if you have like a crime show, somebody's got to write the script for that. So I guess that does count. they don't want to tell you who did it right away. So sometimes they throw things out and those are called red herrings.
Or maybe like a curveball.
Like a piece of evidence that you think means something, but maybe it doesn't. You know how usually, like, when we're watching Bones, they think somebody's the suspect first, but then they find more evidence.
And they find
And
it's like a different.
yeah, and then that makes them suspect someone else. And they usually have to interview a few people and look for more evidence before they figure out. So what do they need at the end? What kind of resolution happens in a mystery?
Usually, like, something you didn't expect, or maybe.
Sometimes it's a surprise.
Yeah, sometimes it's a surprise.
Yeah. But
Like,
what has to happen at the end?
they have to catch the bad guy.
There you go.
They don't have to, but.
Catch the
most
bad
they
guy or a solution to the problem.
do.
The problem is solved. And because what would it feel like if you read a whole book or watched a whole movie and it was a mystery and you get to the end and they never explain what happened?
You'd be like, Did they catch the bad guy?
How would you feel? So be like confused or maybe
Yeah.
even...
Like, what? Why did they... What?
Yeah. Like, what's up? This is really unsatisfying. I don't know. Sometimes there's loose ends or things that they never figure out, but usually there's some sort of resolution or solution to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the end would be kind of, lame. So, I have a writing activity that goes with this. But before you actually write your mystery, I have a little graphic organizer. And I was going to go through that with you. So you can write out your thoughts. I mean, if you have an idea in your head already and you want to jump into writing your mystery story, it doesn't have to be really long, but you should have the elements that we talked about in it: a crime or puzzle, a detective or investigator, suspects or various possible solutions, clues, and a solution, or they catch the bad guy. So this is kind of a graphic organizer that lets you, write down ideas about those elements. It says, what crime was committed? What puzzle needs to be solved? Who's your detective? Who are your suspects? Is it usually good to have more than one? I mean, if they just catch the bad guy and it's the first person they talk to, is that as much fun?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So where is the crime located? What time of day was the crime committed? Kind of a who, what, where, when, why. Are there any false clues or red herrings that might distract you during the mystery? And is anything missing from the scene? So we're going to look at this crime scene. Do you see this here?
Uh-huh.
The crime scene with the police tape around it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's some objects in the crime scene. Can you see what's going on there? Tell me about some things that are going on in that crime scene.
Okay, so it looks like those are two human footprints. So somebody ate half the cookie.
Okay, so there's human footprints.
And half of a cookie is missing.
And a plate with half of a cookie missing.
And then there are animal prints and a bear lying down.
Yeah, an animal footprint, teddy bear. What else?
There's a stethoscope.
Yeah.
I think that's goggles or something.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what that is. It's supposed to be a bullet.
Yeah, it looks like a Nerf gun
Bullet. Yeah.
rocket or something.
So maybe it's supposed to be a bullet.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what's this over here.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Almost looks like some kind of liquid got spilled.
Yeah.
You see anything else that might be important in the crime scene?
There's a car key and jewels spilling out of a suitcase.
So there's a lot of things going on in this crime scene.
Yeah.
That
Wait, I think a doctor tried to resuscitate the bear, but it didn't work. I think the bear got.
I don't know, or somebody left it there. You'll have to think about that. I don't think you have to include everything in this crime scene in your story.
Wait, that stuff has to be in my story?
No, you don't have to include everything in this crime scene in your story. But
Some of the stuff?
yeah, these are clues and you have to figure out what's important to you, your story, and what's not. That does look like a jewelry box with
Like a safe,
beads
maybe?
or jewels spilling out of it.
Like a safe, maybe? Or
I
a
don't know.
suitcase, maybe?
I think it's a jewelry box, but
Alright, so.
you know, you got to take it where your imagination leads
Can I
you.
not just, like, make my own story? Or do I
You
have-
could make your own story with your own crime scene and your own, clues, or you can use something from that picture. It's just something that, a visual stimulation that to go along with what we've talked about. So you can ignore that crime scene and make up your own crime scene, and I'll give you like about 5 to 7 minutes to kind of, you don't have to write the story right now, but you might want to like try to plan out what your elements are going to be. Let me set a timer. Sometimes it helps to think of a title.
I'm thinking for a name for the detective.
Oh.
Agent Andy. FBI Agent Andy.
Agent Andy. Yeah, I know you like to watch Bones, so if you come up with your own personal episode of Bones or something similar, that's okay. You can use that for inspiration.
Do I say what the red herring is, or do I just say yes?
I would put that in there because that's a note. This is a place for you to organize your thoughts. Like, okay, am I going to have a clue that distracts, that doesn't really mean anything, or sends me to a suspect? The red herring is something that distracts you from the real suspect or other clues, maybe. I'm not looking. once you feel like you're ready, you can turn and talk with your partner. Your C partner, and you guys can make sure that you have all the elements that you need for your story.
I would like to share with my seat buddy.
Oh, sure.
What crime was committed? What puzzle needs to be solved? A woman in her mid-30s was kidnapped.
Oh.
The detective is FBI agent Andy.
Well, how did they find out about this person being kidnapped?
The maid walked in at about 6 a.m. to start cleaning and wake up the woman because she had business to attend to. And she found her dead like this in the bed.
Wait, she's missing or she's dead?
Oh, no. She found her missing. She
find-
wasn't there. Everybody checked the entire
So
mansion
she's,
and all of their grounds everywhere.
is she missing or kidnapped?
Missing.
Okay, so she's missing. So her maid reported her missing.
Everybody believes she's kidnapped, and she was kidnapped. But, I'll explain it. It'll explain itself.
Oh, okay.
The
As long
crime-
as you know what, you know.
The crime scene was the woman's mansion and her husband's. What exactly was what time of the day was the crime committed? Exactly 12 o'clock at midnight. Because the security cameras say that's when. But they had security cameras and they saw the kidnapper, but he had black coverings and stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me the whole story. Just kind of make sure your elements are there.
That's the evidence for he was kidnapped. Is there any false clues or red herrings? Yes, and it is that the husband was in the house at the time, said the gardener, hint. Yes, is anything missing from the scene? Yes, the woman's diamond wedding ring. And it's not...
Is she normally not wearing that, or it went missing with her?
It went missing with her.
Okay.
It hasn't... FBI tracked all the pawn shops and everything.
Could she be wearing it?
No, it was off her when...
Oh.
She had a special case for it.
Do you think it was in a she kept it in a special case?
Yeah, she had a special
case. And that was
case.
also missing?
Yes, the case and the ring were missing.
Okay.
That's my crime scene graphic organizer.
Okay. So, you go ahead and how about write for, let's say 15 minutes. Start your first draft, and then you can, let's say 10 minutes, and then you can read to me what you have so far to the class.
10 minutes.
Because we'll be workshopping this story a bit. Okay. You think that'll be enough time to get a...
Yep, that'll be good.
Just, you don't have to write the whole thing, but it'll give you time to start your rough draft. And tell me if you have any questions, because I'll be walking around, technically.
The kidnapping. Him.
Would you prefer if I wasn't sitting here? Do you want me to?
I want you to watch this part.
Why?
Just look. Second. Wait, no. She was made of.
Ooh. Does she have a name?
No.
Okay.
In the final draft that will be introduced.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I will come up with her name. It's very fancy writing.
Yeah, you don't worry about fancy writing right now. Just let the thoughts. You can write more quickly because you're gonna be revising this. I'm gonna walk around and check on some other students, so I don't sit here and distract you. Are the thoughts really flowing? Do you want a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. Oops. Jeez. Okay. Well, we've come to a stopping place, so we'll have more time to work on these first drafts of our mystery stories later or tomorrow. But I was gonna ask I'm gonna ask students to share what they have so far with the class.
Okay. I'll go first.
Or with your C partner.
My story is called The Kidnapper. And it starts like this. One day, the maid of the richest woman in the state, Elisa Goodman, found her employer missing from the mansion. At first, Elisa's maid was not worried because she thought Miss Goodman had just woken up early and decided to take a stroll around the mansion, as she usually did. After many hours of the maid, gardener, and husband looking for her, the husband decided he would call the police, as he did. When the police arrived, there was a detective with them, Special FBI Agent Andy, who said he was there to solve the case. After Agent Andy and the police looked at the security, they realized that Mrs. Goodman had been kidnapped.
Looked at the what? I'm sorry, I didn't catch.
The security tapes.
Oh, like
Cameras.
recording.
They had security cameras.
Okay.
They also discovered that she was taken at exactly midnight.
So they actually saw her being taken on the
Yes, but the kidnapper had, or abductor, had completely black clothes on. It was like, they couldn't see his face at all because he had like a huge mask on.
So they knew what time it happened.
They couldn't even see his eyes.
But they couldn't see the person.
No.
Okay.
And that's what I've got so far.
Oh, that's everything?
For now.
Oh, okay. I thought you had. That's a good beginning. I see that you have, like if you're my C partner, we're checking for elements. So you have the crime or problem that needs to be solved. Mm-hmm. Your detective is Agent Andy. Your suspects could be the husband, the maid, and the gardener.
Because they were the only ones there at the time.
Yeah. The crime scene was the woman's mansion. Got that. And what time of the day was the crime committed? Exactly midnight, according to the recordings.
And those two I did not get to yet.
Yeah. So these are elements that you're going to... But I'd say that you have a really good start, and you've been giving us something to wonder about. That is quite a mystery. Like, they could see her being kidnapped, but they couldn't see what the person looked like because they were...
They don't even know if it was a girl or a boy. The gardener is female.
So it could be the maid or the female gardener or the husband.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. And if you want to put that in your writing folder, or your writing notebook, keep it in your writing notebook, and I'll have a chance to give you some more feedback. Maybe before we start writing again. Thank you.
You're welcome.